Ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession to make. I cheated. Yes, I know I am dirty, I am rotten, but come on. I'm not gonna play this game over and over again just to get that many bulls. I mean, I like Ratchet and Clank, but I don't like it that much. Greetings all, it's Blue Knight. Welcome back to Ratchet and Clank. Previously, we stopped wrecking our home planet Velton and saved the world, and by extension the Lilac system, not the Lilac system, the Solana Galaxy. I don't know why I have Star Fox on the mind all of a sudden. We also put an end to Drek's money-making scheme by virtue of our victory, and also his life, but that's not really important. Today, we're going to start these bonus episodes, because we got a bit of post-game coverage to go through, and I figured we start here back on Wilgar. If you remember from our first visit on this planet, we came across this guy who had something called the R.Y.N.O, but it also cost an absurd amount of bolts to collect, but we have more than enough to afford it right now. So let's not waste any more time and get our last weapon of the game.
Oh, this thing is heavy!
Yeah, try carrying it around in your trench coat for 2 months.
Thank you, sir. We'll be sure to tell everyone about your services.
Listen, you little twerp. If you tell anyone what you saw, what we talked about,
Do I even have to say it?
yous two have a nice day.
And we finally have the R.Y.N.O. Although it comes with half the ammunition, but that's kind of par for the course when it comes to getting a new weapon in this game. And I think I know the perfect guinea pig to test out our brand new weapon on. So for the sake of demonstration, I decided to use Cherry Drek as our little guinea pig to test out the R.Y.N.O on. He's the only one that I can think of that has a decent amount of health to go through at this point in the game, even though I am playing on New Game Plus. But I think he's the perfect candidate to test out the R.Y.N.O on. As first things first, we gotta get to Cherry Drek to begin with. Otherwise, this demonstration is gonna be a huge farce. So I want you to pay attention to just how powerful the R.Y.N.O really is. Trust me, getting those 150k bulls is gonna be worth it once you acquire this weapon. Let's jump over here. Quick change. So the R.Y.N.O automatically locks on to any enemy that you're nearby. Now you think that you have 50 rockets to work with, that the R.Y.N.O might be a bit difficult to work with. Like you have to hold down the button to have continuous fire. Not really. Hit the button once, you'll fire 9 rockets, and look how much damage we just delivered to Chairman Drek. And that was just off one button press. And we already made him have to retreat to the next part of this boss fight. That's how strong the R.Y.N.O is. It is by far the most overpowered weapon in the game for good reason. Originally, the R.Y.N.O was designed to have at least 10 rockets as part of its ammunition, but after some playtesting, Insomniac decided to give the R.Y.N.O 50 ammo rockets instead. 50 ammo rockets, that was a really stupid way to put it, but I think you get the idea. Because they really saw the potential the R.Y.N.O has, even though it's supposed to be overpowered. This is your reward for grinding that amount of balls. You can just rip and tear through anything you feel like it, and it is awesome. Kind of think of it, I might put up a stop clock or something to see just how long this fight will really go now that we have the R.Y.N.O, because Cherry Drek is really a huge joke to us at this point. It's really cool that you don't have to hold down the circle button to do so, but it's kind of overpowered to the point that this weapon is practically broken. Not that the concept of the R.Y.N.O was broken on paper, but it's just really absurd how deadly the R.Y.N.O is. I know in later games you have to hold down the circle button for the R.Y.N.O to have continuous fire, because this does appear in later games. It's kind of a tradition for Ratchet and Clank to have such a huge OP weapon like the R.Y.N.O to acquire, though it does cost a lot in all those games as well. Let's use the R.Y.N.O one more time. I highly doubt I can take out Cherry Drek before the countdown's even over, but I'll be surprised if that's the case. So considering that you have at least one press of the circle button that will fire 9 rockets, Essentially, you have 450 rockets to utilize with the R.Y.N.O. That's how strong this thing is. And it's no wonder that not only you have more ammunition in later versions of the R.Y.N.O, but you also have to hold down the fire button to have continuous fire with the R.Y.N.O itself. So, in a certain way, this might be classified as the best R.Y.N.O in the entire Ratchet and Clank series. Though, I haven't played all the games, so I have experienced every version of this weapon, so I can't say for certain. Look how long the range is too. We're on the other side of the stage and we can still fire off a Cherry Drek. Only one more bottle of rockets should take him out. And yep, he's done. And that's how deadly the R.Y.N.O is. But that's not the only weapon that you can get in New Game Plus. For this, we'll have to head back to Novalis because there's a little something that you get when you do start a New Game Plus on Ratchet and Clank. So on New Game Plus, when you head to Novalis, you'll come across this little teleportation device. This will teleport you to a place called the Gold Weapons Room. This is where collecting all those gold bolts throughout the game will come in huge handy, because now we have even stronger versions of most of the weapons that we'll come across on our adventure now. And truth be told, this isn't the only gold weapons room you can find in Ratchet and Clank. As a matter of fact, if you go to Gambling Base and you jump across this tower to the right of the pad that we found our current ship with, there are at least 5 gold weapons you can acquire, but they still cost a lot of bolts, so you will have to do some grinding in order to get those amount of bolts. But as long as you have those and the gold bolts that you acquired, you should be able to collect those 5 weapons too. On New Game Plus, you will unlock the rest of the gold weapons as you see here, but I think it's kind of easier to come to Novalis because it is the second level of the game, and it is a lot easier to find the location. I mean, it's practically right next to the entrance, so there's no reason why you can go to Gambling Base unless you feel like it. So first things first, let's collect all of these weapons, starting with the gold Tesla Claw, the gold Bob Glove, the gold Devastator, the gold Porositor, the gold Mind Glove, the gold Blaster, the gold morph-o-ray, the gold Glove of Doom, the gold Decoy Glove, and last but not least, the gold Suck Cannon. This is the reason why I grinded up those million bolts. Not because for that trophy that you'll get in the PS3 version, but you saw how many bolts it took to get all of these weapons. If we head to the weapons menu in our pause screen, you'll see that not all the weapons in the game has a gold form. The only ones that are unavailable are the Taunter, the Walloper, the Visibomb Gun, the Drone Device, and of course the R.Y.N.O, because that's pretty overpowered as is. The Taunter is pretty much a luring weapon, so I can see why there's no gold form for that. The Walloper, you can take out most small enemies in one shot. Bigger enemies might take 2 or 3, so I guess that's why there's no gold form. The Visibomb is a one-shot weapon itself as well, so there's no need for a gold weapon of that. And the Drone Device is mostly a defense mechanism, so I imagine that players won't be using that much, and that's probably what Insomniac thought themselves. So now that we've got our new golden arsenal, I think we should probably test it out on some of these enemies. So the first is going to be the gold Bob Glove. It's got a lot higher range. The explosion is a lot more powerful, and you have longer accuracy in aiming mode as well. So if you thought the Bob Glove was very useful before, the gold version kicks it up quite a bit. Next is going to be the gold Blaster. It still has the same capabilities, you can fire off on some enemies, but as you can see, the shots now ricochet off surfaces. So if you have this in a closed space, it will make it very useful to eliminate a swarm of enemies, should the need arise. Next is going to be our Gold Glove of Doom. We fire one off. These guys increased its size, so that means they're a lot more powerful as well. That's kind of the general gist of most of these gold weapons, come to think of it. Most of them will have higher power, higher accuracy, greater range of fire, with a couple other perks for some unique golden weapons. Next will be our Gold Tesla Claw, which does... it has more power, like I've stated before with most of these weapons, but it has a green lightning arc, and if you're close enough, it can hit 2 enemies at once. So this kind of replaces the Ferocitor in spades. Now you can take out twice as many foes as possible. The next one is a personal favorite of mine, the Gold Devastator. If you thought the Devastator before was great, watch this. Fire off 1 rocket, it separates into 3 and can home in on more enemies. Another useful weapon for long range fighting. And also, it's a lot more powerful since it will now breaks off into 3 more rockets. I'm actually gonna try to fire that off again because I think we only saw just the one that was just circling around. Let's see, come over here and fire. There it is. Might be the blast that took out the first one, but as you can see, those multiple rockets can take out more enemies should they're close enough. Next is our Golden Mind Glove. What this does is that it can activate at a larger range. You can throw farther aim mode and it does more damage. So kind of par for the course for most of these golden weapons. It's kind of like the Golden Bomb Glove in a way now that I think about it. So while that's happening, if there are any survivors left, we'll use the Golden Suck Cannon. Let's see if there's any more. Yes, plenty of enemies around left. So unlike the last version of the Suck Cannon, it has more capacity to hold. So we can hold, I think, up to 10 enemies now, the initial 5. So now we have more ammo to work with. And I believe the shots are a lot more deadlier as well. I decided to come back to Villa to show off the shot power of the Suck Cannon because honestly I ran out of enemies back in Novalis, so that's kind of why I came back here. As you can see, the shots of the Suck Cannon are a lot more powerful too, so like I said, it's just not the ammo capacity that's upgraded, it's the shot power too. The next one's pretty interesting. This is the Gold Decoy Glove. Not only has the changing appearance now that you have evil Ratchet, but when it blows up, as soon as these guys start taking it out, it can actually damage enemies too, which is what the original Decoy Glove could not do. So that kind of makes this weapon a bit more useful, admittedly so. Personally, I don't use it as much as the original Decoy Glove, but it's still a lot more useful now that it can take out enemies after it blows up, I guess. Next is our Golden Ferocitor. This now has a green flame and it does more damage too. I'm not sure why I'm using it against aerial enemies, but it's actually doing pretty good against these elite guards. Think about just 2 shots, that's not bad. So the Ferocitor, like you can see, like I said before, has a green flame down to it. But that doesn't mean it's less powerful, it's actually a lot more powerful as we saw those elite guards. I think it also has longer range too. Yes it does, so longer range and has more damage and faster damage as well. So it can take out enemies a bit faster than the original Ferocitor did. And our last weapon, which has a typo to its name, is the Gold Morph-o-ray. What this does is that it has faster morphing capabilities, but it can also produce bigger chickens. Look at the size of that thing, it's massive. And they also blow up when they're near enemies too. So that's a lot more useful than before. It's no longer a joke weapon. Now, I'm not sure how well that's doing against these block elite guards. If I can aim at them. Yeah. This all has faster morphing as well, like I said before. So again, this could be a good weapon to use if you need to clear out enemies, but you don't want to get into the fight yourself. Just fire the morph-o-ray off at a distance, and the chickens will blow up, eventually taking out most of the enemies that are around them. And that's more or less the golden weapons that we can get in the entire game. Keep in mind, I'm playing this in the final level of the game where some of the strongest enemies are, but the golden weapons are more than a match for them. So the next 2 bonus videos that I'll be uploading, I actually will be commentating because these next 2 vids can actually be portrayed as videos themselves. But the next time I will be showing off more Ratchet and Clank, there's a bit more that we can see now that we got all the skill points and actually what buying all the gold weapons will entail as well. And I shall also show how I got those million bolts because, like I said, I found a way, but it was kinda cheap. Until we meet again, farewell for now.